Even though I'm very excited about WWE moving to Netflix, I mean I'll be able to watch Raw live, SmackDown live. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. There's a lot of misinformation and misleading videos on YouTube about the Netflix deal. I get it, I'm guilty of this too, but I wanna clear some things up. By the way, did you watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? You did? I don't quite believe you. I don't think you really did. Since we're on topic of that, ladies and gentlemen, I have a big announcement. A gigantic announcement. Ric Flair, I'm challenging you to a match at WrestleMania 59. Nah, he'd still kick my ass. Scratch that. I'm challenging you to a match at WrestleMania, Bruno Sammartino. Also on Greatness of Wrestling, Wade Barrett's in-ring return, and did we miss a big clue in the Bloodline storyline? All of that on Greatness of Wrestling. People, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode of Greatness of Wrestling, where we talk about the latest WWE's news. So, drop that like. Subscribe if you already didn't. I appreciate that. I want to talk about Netflix because I'm very excited about this deal, but there's a lot of misinformation, some ridiculous information that for whatever reason people seem to believe or, share on the internet. First of all, let's talk about the buffering, the lag that we saw on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. What you people need to realize is that this fight was watched by over 60 million people. WWE ain't gonna get that viewership. It's gonna be max, this is generous, but 4 million. 3.5 maybe. I don't know, the first episode I'm talking about. So, if anything, the quality is going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm very excited. I'll be able to watch Raw, SmackDown. If you're from US, you're gonna be watching Raw. I'm gonna get everything, even the pay-per-views. So people, don't worry about that. I'm seeing a lot of information, a lot of concern, and I get that, but let's be realistic right here. Not that many people are gonna be watching wrestling. There's also this image floating around the internet, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I can't tell whether this is real or fake, but Raw says TV 14, NXT says TV PG, and SmackDown says TV mature. So what's gonna happen on SmackDown? A lot of people are gonna be swinging those dingly donglies. I don't know. A lot of people are using this image as news. Oh, WWE is no longer PG. Can you really take this seriously when SmackDown says TV mature? Let's talk about Raw. TV 14, possible. Absolutely. Don't think that's gonna happen, but I'm 50-50 on this. But you can't take this picture as some kind of a proof when SmackDown says TV mature. Even if SmackDown moved to Netflix Cornhub, it's not gonna be TV mature. What you need to realize is that SmackDown is on television, it's on USA Network. I don't even see it being TV 14, so these ratings are just, they just came out of ass. I don't know, reporting this as some kind of news, as legitimate news, personally it just seems disingenuous. I don't feel like anybody who actually put that out as real news believe that shit. It ain't gonna happen. Well, we did see a trailer for WWE moving to Netflix, so we're gonna get Roman Reigns, a lot of big stars including John Cena, which is really exciting. Will he wrestle? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's probably gonna be John Cena's return date, so he's not gonna wrestle, but he's gonna be very excited about WWE on Netflix. New era. Come on, Fruity Pebbles, all that shit. It's awesome. Also, Travis Scott is gonna be on Raw, probably performing, and normally I used to shit on celebrities being in WWE, but whenever I see musicians that I listen to, I get excited. I don't listen to that music. If you do, you're probably excited, and I'm happy for you. Triple H gifted him the Hardcore Championship, a modern version of it, and people are saying, oh my god, the Hardcore Championship is back. No, it's not, and it shouldn't. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we saw that with 24/7 Championship. We already have so many titles. The only new title I would be okay with is the Women's Intercontinental Championship, so I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's gonna happen. I feel like it was just a gesture. Travis Scott is hardcore, he's cool. We're gonna give him the Modern Hardcore Championship, something along those lines, so don't get excited about that shit. New Monday Night Raw logo. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sweet Ryback on Ichiro's diet. Oh my god. Doesn't look good. I hate saying this because, I'm gonna sound like a nerd. Like a gamer nerd. Worst logo ever! But honestly, if you look at all the logos we had there, this one's kinda ass. Personally, I love this logo, right? It's pretty cool. It's like they tried to modernize it. It does have some similarities, but it just looks ass. SmackDown's logo is pretty cool. Not very good, but I can deal with it. It's different, it doesn't look too clean, which is a problem nowadays. Every logo, every company everything is trying to get that clean logo, and it just ruins everything. I mean, look at something like Pringles, right? I do hope it's not an official logo. I've seen custom logos that look better, so I don't know. I'm very disappointed in the logo. Not that it matters, obviously, but we're here to talk about wrestling. Obviously, we're gonna talk about all that shit. Now, we heard rumors that Netflix want big talent. CM Punk, Cody, Roman Reigns being on Raw, and it's pretty concerning when it comes to SmackDown's roster. I don't know if it's just me, but since like 2019, honestly, SmackDown felt like the bigger show. It was the A show for the first time in ever, actually. You know, because SmackDown used to be just a recap of Raw for a big period of time from like 2010 to 2012, more to like 2015. It seems like Monday Night Raw is going to be the flagship show again. I don't feel like it's even realistic. Moving Punk, Roman, Cody, they're the biggest talent WWE have right now, some of the biggest. And while it could still work, what kind of makes me worried is that SmackDown is gonna be 3 hours. It doesn't need to. Especially since you're not gonna have the top talent, it doesn't need to be 3 hours long. No reason to do that. So anyway, the takeaway of these news are don't believe everything you see. Maybe the mature TV 14 rating is for the old episodes. Maybe some of the older episodes had some shit happening, you know, and it obviously did. So maybe, you know, we're gonna get old episodes on Netflix too, so they decided to give it a rating. Because, you know, NXT at the end of the day is pretty new, so we never had these extreme moments. Raw did, SmackDown did, so maybe that's the case. Maybe nowadays some of these episodes could be possibly called TV mature. I don't know how, but I mean, well, a lot of sexualized stuff, so maybe. Let's talk about Wade Barrett. WrestleVotes Radio claims that WWE is discussing the idea of Wade Barrett returning to the ring for a match against Drew McIntyre. This would be a short-term comeback for Barrett rather than a full-time return to in-ring competition. This is something I've been talking about for like months now, and I always said it sounds really dumb, but that's something I would like to see. For example, we saw Wade Barrett's involvement in CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and I said maybe Wade Barrett should help Drew McIntyre and could get a match against CM Punk, maybe even bring up Nexus. I know it's a stupid idea, but, you know, sometimes I don't like fantasy booking, but, you know, universe mode shit. Seems like that wasn't that terrible of an idea and speculation at all, because seems like that's happening and I'm very excited. Maybe Royal Rumble. I do feel like that's a very good rivalry for Drew McIntyre. I mean, after Punk, what is Drew McIntyre going to do right now? He's going to target Wade Barrett and all the people who supported Punk. So he's gonna feel like, okay, my best friend, one of my best friends, actually turned on me. How could you even say nice things about CM Punk? You held me back. I feel like that's pretty awesome, and he doesn't need to return full-time. He's a great commentator, but it's definitely a rivalry I would love to see. Finally, let's talk about the Bloodline. So on SmackDown, we saw Roman Reigns calling Paul Heyman. He couldn't reach him, but there's one clip I'm seeing floating around the internet, and it's Sami Zayn secretly pulling a phone out of his pocket and throwing it on the sofa. This happened before Roman Reigns called Paul Heyman. I don't feel like it means anything. Obviously, some of these moments are very subtle and they do mean sometimes a lot. I'm seeing the explanation floating around that Roman Reigns called using Sami's phone. You think bro couldn't tell it's not his phone? With this wallpaper? Yeah, that seems like a terrible idea. Honestly, seems like a terrible idea. I do remember the Bloodline actually breaking Paul Heyman's phone, so a lot of people are saying maybe that's why he couldn't reach Paul Heyman. When you break someone's phone, you don't break the card, the SIM, we call it in Lithuania, right? That's not how it works. I feel like it doesn't mean shit, honestly. He just felt like, okay, I'm gonna go to the ring now because we're seeing the Bloodline, we're gonna fight, so I'm just gonna drop my phone. I don't wanna break it. Maybe people are reading into it a bit too much. I don't see Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodline anytime soon. So, another news is WrestleVote saying, I'm told that Bronson Reed / Bloodline segment on SmackDown got a strong backstage reaction. A source in Milwaukee said fits like a glove, exactly what I've said. He could be a full-time member of the Bloodline. Wouldn't mind. Obviously, he's doing big things right now, great things, but man, seeing Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu in the ring, this is what the Bloodline needs. Sometimes it's hard to take them seriously. You know, you look at the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline, and it's like, okay, you're gonna lose. When you put Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu, they're actually like competition for Sammy and Jay. Tangaloa and Tamatanga, they don't feel like competition, right? So I feel like I would be pretty okay with Bronson Reed being in the Bloodline. But that's all I got for you today, people. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like if you already didn't watch more of my videos, appreciate that. The great one, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.